Good morning, Romeo. How are you today?
Good morning. I'm okay.
Yesterday, you played Michael Thomas lot more than you played in any game this season. Was that by design? And tell us about that. You played Lonnie Johnson more than he's played, all at safety. And was can you see those two guys continuing to play a lot?
Yes, I can see them continuing to play. As you get injuries and nicks and get banged up a little bit during the season, you have to make some adjustments. And we didn't have McKinney yesterday. So we had to make some adjustments for that. And so that allowed other guys opportunities to play a little bit more.
What about specifically Michael Thomas and how did he play?
Well, he plays good. Michael has a great attitude. He's a pro. He does whatever job that he has, and he does it with gusto. And so that's why everybody likes him. That's why we like him, because he's very dependable. And so I can see him getting more playing time as we go through the rest of the season.
Christy?
Romeo, I know the focus last week was just to get the guys their first win, but now that y'all have done that, what's kind of next on your list, and what's the message this week to the guys?
Win one game. That's the focus. Win one game, and they can focus on the game that we have to play and not worry about anything else. Let's just focus on Tennessee and what we can get done there.
Aaron Reese? You got to unmute, Aaron.
Oh, sorry. What's allowed Whitney to kind of have a breakout in these past 2 weeks and play a little bit better?
Well, he's been in position, earlier on in the season, but he's been able to take advantage of some of the things that are happening on the field now. The coverage sometimes the coverage makes a quarterback hold the ball. And when that occurs, the rushers have more of an opportunity to get to the quarterback. And so if they're going to push the protection toward JJ, which many times they do, that leaves Whitney one-on-one, and he took advantage of it yesterday.
Aaron Wilson.
Hey, Romeo, what benefits did you see now that you had the running game cranked up a little bit? Did you start to see, now that you watched the tape, the passing lanes open up even more now that you had a chance to review it?
You know what? Anytime that you can establish a running game, that impacts the linebackers and the underneath coverage, and so our ability to run the ball some allowed us to open up some of those lanes. And so the guys underneath in that mid-level, they were having to come up, or they were kind of settling because they were maybe looking for shorter passes. And then Deshaun was able to find the deep route and get the ball down the field.
What did you think about how Terrell played? And do you anticipate Bernardrick being able to be up this week? Do you think it's a short-term shoulder injury? Do you think it's going to take longer? Do you expect him to play again this season?
Well, we'll have to wait to see what the medical people say today, because they will evaluate him again today, and they will let us know what the prospects are. Hopefully he'll be able to come back. And the guys who stepped in yesterday, he stepped in and made some plays. And so, that's the name of this business, the next guy up. And we tell them that all the time, that they have to be ready when their number is called. And yesterday, the guys whose numbers were called, they performed well.
Sarah?
Was it a priority going into the game to go to Brandon Cooks more?
Nope, it was not a priority. My big priority for that game was to try to establish a running game, to get some running yards, because I know that the running yards open up the passing game. And so as it turned out, we were able to get some yards rushing, and then it did open up the passing game, and we were able to get the ball to several different receivers, but we had one who had a big day, which we knew that he was capable of, and it showed up.
Berman?
Romeo, what was the difference in your run defense?
After the opening drive, after
After that, right.
Yeah, after the start of the game, I think we just settled down. we talked all week about how we needed to play, that you had to win your gap before trying to get off a block and help out. And so after that first drive, because there were a few holes in the defense in that drive, they settled down and began to understand that if I take care of my gap, then my partner will take care of his gap and we'll do a lot better. And as it turned out, we did do that and did better.
Will you be doing the Soldier Boy in the Macarena after every win?
I'm sure that they will ask me to do that, but I don't think that I will be throwing that out.
DP?
Romeo, there was a lot of talk about the defense not being able to get any takeaways through the first 4 weeks. Did you have a different emphasis during practice last week? I mean, what was different in Sunday's game, and how can you build on it moving forward?
Sometimes the ball bounces your way, and the ball bounced our way, yesterday. But we had been, since I guess the second week or the third week, we had really put an emphasis on it. We talked about it in training camp and all of that, but we started saying, let's do it in practice. And even if you can't touch them in practice, go ahead and make the move to punch the ball out or make the move to intercept the ball. And so with that emphasis on it, guys were trying to do it in practice, and it just paid off on Sunday, and sometimes the ball does bounce your way, and it bounced our way because Whitney was able to recover that one fumble. And then when he got hit from behind, the ball came out, but then we were still there on it and able to get that ball. So our ability to talk about it and then our ability to come up with plays showed up.
Brandon?
Good morning, Romeo.
Good morning.
Hey, so what are some of the ways that you guys can get Duke Johnson more involved in the offense?
Well, Duke is a very good all-around player. He can play on third down, can play on first and second, got great feet. I like what he brings to the table. And sometimes when you put the game plan together, you think about how you want to try to do things. And so sometimes the bigger back kind of fits in more. And so the bigger back got more opportunities this game. Next week, it could be different, but we know what Duke brings to the table. We like what Duke brings to the table. And just like in the receiving area, one guy wasn't getting as many balls coming his way until last week. And so next week, Duke might be the guy who shows up more in the running game and in the receiving game as well. So it's hard to say. I mean, we try to get everybody involved if we can, but sometimes, if a guy gets going and he's doing well, you try to feed that guy a little bit, okay? And so I think that I know all the players want the ball. I mean, offensively, skill positions, they all want the ball, but we can't get it to everybody all the time. So the game plan sometimes impacts that. What happens on the field sometimes impacts that. But we like all our skill guys, and we will try to get them touches during the game if we can.
Cody?
Good morning, Coach.
Good morning.
This week you guys play against the Tennessee Titans, and everyone knows they've been dealing with the coronavirus really bad. So with that being said, how difficult will it be to prepare the Texans to go into Tennessee and play that game, knowing how bad the coronavirus has been for that team?
Well, I think that everybody has to have some confidence in the league, and that the league is going to try to stay on top of it to make sure that they have had negative tests for consecutive days before they put them on the field. And so we have to rely on that. I think that there may be some apprehension by some guys, but I think for the most part, guys will go play and feel decent about playing.
John?
Romeo, you guys did a good job against James Robinson. Now you got Derrick Henry, a guy you know really well. Sometimes you've had good games against him. Sometimes he's killed you. What is the key to trying to contain him, considering especially what a great power back he is?
Yeah, we have to try to not let him get started because he is a big physical downhill back. And so if we can get to the line of scrimmage and maybe even get into the backfield on him before he can get his stride going and get his body lean going, then hopefully we can contain him. But if you let him get started and get that long stride going, he's hard to tackle. And if he can get to the second level, generally he gains several yards after that. So if we can keep him on the first level, then that will improve our chances.
Kim Davis.
Good morning, Coach.
Good morning.
Can you talk about, and if you answered this already, I apologize. When you went and looked at the tape from yesterday, two things. What is it that you saw that made you, that you like best, other than obviously getting the win, and the area that you really think you guys need to continue to improve in? Thank you.
Well, the thing that I was somewhat pleased about is the things that I've been talking to the guys about all week, basically about the running game on both sides of the ball, all right, that it showed up yesterday. Our offensive line, they were able to get movement at the point, to create some seams for the runners, and sometimes, you look at it and a guy will run in behind that line and it's only a 2 or 3 yard gain. All right. But if the line can get movement, next time he runs into that line and then all of a sudden he bounces outside and then runs up the sideline, well, his ability to go in behind the line to start with allows him to bounce it out because they get sucked in, to try to stop him initially. So I was pleased with the way the offensive line came off the ball, which allowed us to be able to run and then allow the protection. I thought they did a nice job on the protection. Defensively, we've been giving up a lot of yards in the rushing game, and we were able to slow the guys down. And I think they had 75 yards rushing yesterday, which was our best result of the year so far. And so going forward, I'm going to try to continue to preach to them about that, because I know that's one of the fundamentals of the game. And if we can do that, we'll give ourselves a chance.
We'll finish up with Aaron Wilson.
Romeo, Michael Thomas, you talked about earlier, was giving some praise to Kaimi Fairburn. Kaimi's had almost a perfect season. Your thoughts on what Kaimi's done? Obviously, because a big contract in the offseason for him, just the kind of level of confidence, what you think of him as a kicker?
Well, I think he's a very good kicker. I know that he works very hard at it. He works very hard at his job and his skill, and it shows up, on the game day. I thought that that longer field goal that he made was key for us at a key time in the game, and he put it through the uprights. And so I think that will continue to build his confidence and build confidence of the team in him. And going down the road, we should be good with what we got there.
Last one for you. PJ Hall, you guys get him off of, he was supposed to be traded to Minnesota. It doesn't work out. The Raiders cut him. What have you seen from him since he got here in terms of getting in shape and the kind of football player he is, the kind of potential you see from him? Thank you. I
think PJ has good explosion. That's some quickness. He's got a quick step and has some explosion. And his center of gravity, I think, helps him at the line of scrimmage. And he's been showing up, making plays at the line, getting into the backfield at times, impacting plays. And I think he's been a good addition, even though he's a different type of guy that we've had in the past. But because of his skill set, I think he helps our defense.
Thanks, Coach.
All right. Thanks, people. Let's win.